Okay, good to see you guys. Today I'm going to be teaching you about launching and docking your boats, specifically your Picos. Okay, so right here I've done a nice diagram of our harbor. So you have our dinghy docks here, land where you launch your boat from. This little diagram view pushing your boat off the dinghy docks, and this is our harbor. Their exit right here. So kind of just a raise of hands. Who here has launched a boat without anyone helping them before? Okay. So pretty much what we want to do, if it's in light conditions, not too windy, we'll just put the boat on the dolly. You can push it off. Either the docks, in this case, you'll be able to stand in the water, so you can slide your boat off your dolly while your partner holds it. You take the dolly back, or vice versa. You push your boat off. Your sails have already been rigged. Put your dagger board in if you haven't done so already, and you can sail out or scull out of the harbor, right? No problem at all. It changes a little bit if the wind picks up. The only thing you have to worry about is if the wind is coming from directly behind you. So if it's coming from this direction, from right there up, it's not a problem because your sail will be luffing the entire time, right? Whereas if it's coming from the side, you can let your sail out, make sure nothing's seated when you launch, and there'll be no problem there, assuming that your boat, you don't tip your boat over on purpose. The only issue you're going to have is the wind's coming from directly behind you, in which case, even if you let your sail out all the way, your boat's still going to blow into the dock. What you're going to want to do there is, while you're pushing your boat off, quickly turn it so that your sail will be luffing, it'll be in the wind, and you won't have any issues. The same goes, question?
When we turn it, are we in the boat turning the rudder, or are we turning it when we're in the water?
That's a good question. So, ideally, you wouldn't put your dagger board in this point, so your boat would just be drifting. You would just push it off and you'd be standing in the water and turn your boat there. You wouldn't do it with your rudder. The same goes for docking in heavy conditions. You want to make sure that when you come into dock, you don't sail straight into the dock. You're going to want to turn your boat if it's directly behind the wind's from directly behind you. If it's coming off an angle, or if it's coming directly from the dinghy docks, then you won't have a problem because you guys can look right here, because you'll be luffing anyway in the direction. All right. Any questions about those general concepts?
No.
All right. Just some pointers. Make sure that even though your boats are going to be fully rigged, make sure your sail controls are off. So boom, bang, Cunningham, outhaul should be loose, just so you guys are set for the conditions. But if you're not sure, don't put them on too tight so your sail won't so you can have maximum control over your sail, and make sure not even your jibs are cleated. Okay. So next, we're going to talk about launching. So I'm going to give you guys a scenario. And in this scenario, the wind is going to be coming from directly behind you, like I described. And it's going to be a 10-knot breeze. So it's going to be fairly windy. Nothing too unmanageable, but you're not going to be able to hold the boat if you wanted to, all right? So we're just going to brainstorm ideas. What are the best ways to launch? You guys can say them, and I'll write them right down so we can read them. Any ideas? What would you do? We'll start with you, Zoltan. What would you do? What's the first thing you would do?
Make sure that the boom isn't cleated down.
That's good. Okay.
That's
Make sure your boom isn't cleated. You just keep talking.
Okay. Like you said, turn the boat around so that it's not getting hit by the wind as from the angle.
The sail can luff.
Yeah.
Okay, but how would you do that?
Well, you should be able to stand in the water, and when
Okay,
one person
so
puts it in, it can be.
You have to make sure when you launch in a condition like that, either you can turn the boat from where you're standing on the dock, or it's shallow enough that you can stand. So that's a good point. So you have one of your crew or the skipper make sure they're ready to turn the boat. Anything else? You can be creative. Just think of anything. Any
Make sure
ideas?
the dagger board's up.
That's good.
Wait. Just wondering. So you said the wind be coming at us in this direction from 10 knots?
Yeah, so it's coming. So picture you're pushing your boat either off the dock or off the dolly, and the wind's coming from directly behind the boat, right? So you're pushing off stern first, like you would, and even if your sail's out 90 degrees or further, you're still going to be catching the wind. It's not going to be able to luff from its current position.
Okay.
Can you loosen the sail?
Well, what specifically do you mean?
Well, make it so that it catches less wind.
Well, I mean, in your boats, if you were in like say a laser,
Mhm.
then you could simply take the main sheet off and the sail could go all the way around. But in Picos or in 420s, either the boom's gonna be stopped by the shroud and won't be able to go further than 90 degrees out, or it simply won't be able to turn that far, or you have the jib in the way. So that's not really a possibility. Like anything
Would
anything
the
else?
boat turn naturally by itself?
Yeah, well, the sail's going to want to luff, right? So the boat will turn by itself, assuming that it's gonna. But if you just let it turn, it's going to like bang into the docks, right? Because
Okay.
the first thing it's going to do is sail forward, right? Okay, start keeling over. Anything else? What could we do? Let's just say you two people. Maybe you call someone else to help. Any ideas? You want to launch? What's your go-to plan? Like starting step 1, step 2, step 3.
So you would want to bring the boat out a little deeper in the water, so even if things don't go as planned, you don't immediately crash into the dock.
Keep it away from the dock or the
Yeah.
break wall. It's good.
Get someone to push the boat further into the water while you're on it, so you can control the sail.
Right, so you wouldn't want to do that if it's like right where you're pushing off, but where you're right. When you push off, so when the dolly's on shore and you're ready to go out, you want to make sure you have a good shove so that you have time to actually head up into wind. That's good.
Would the dock itself have padding on it at all?
It depends. It's going to vary club to club, but if you're using, well, obviously they're dinghy docks, then no.
Okay.
It could be most likely it'll be a concrete break wall. Best case scenario, you're at a club and it's just like the edge of the water. It's kind of a grassy bank.
Okay.
So your boat. So there's no good things to hit on the sides.
Okay. So then I guess you would want to move your once you're out and you're facing the exit, you would want to move your sail to catch the wind and push you in that direction.
Yes, you want to head up right after you launch.
And ideally, you'd also point the bow to the exit, or whichever direction you're going to go.
What about after we push the boat in the water? Just making sure we can keep one person on the dock and actually just turn the boat, and they can hold it there while it's luffing, right?
Yeah.
Right. If the dagger board's up, it's just going to drift. It's not going to keel over.
Well,
Right. That's a possibility. So you could keep one person on the shore, and they could hold the boat and make sure they turn it right away. Anything else, guys? Or be creative. Like,
Okay. Well.
think. What could you do? What would you do in this scenario? All you have to do is gain control of the boat.
Okay, well then I guess when if you have 3 people for the boat, you have your crew hold the your crew member hold the boat while your jib and skipper get in, so they can
Nice.
so they can control the boat.
Or if it were in stronger winds, have more people holding the boat in place.
Can you launch with people on the boat?
Oh,
yes.
You wouldn't want to push the boat into the water while your friend's standing up. Okay, so how about to review? This is what we have so far. We have to keep away from the dock, make sure none of your sheets are cleated, have one person ready to turn the boat, keep your dagger board and your rudder up, right? Make sure when you do push off, you give a really hard shove so that way you're not like turning right into the dock when you head upwind, because obviously you're going to drift a little bit when you come back. Head up right after you launch, turn the boat. You can do this right after you push off, turn the boat head to wind, or even perpendicular, so 90 degrees to the wind, you can turn it sideways so the boom can come out and start luffing. And when the crew gets in, you can have the skipper hold the boat, because it's going to be rocking a lot. It's probably not going to be easy for them to put the dagger board in, right? It's probably going to be wavy at least, or the boat's going to be jostling around. And just make sure that when we do push off, right, we get sailing right away. Alright, sounds like it's pretty good. Okay, so next we're going to talk about docking. So similar scenario, we're just going to use this. The wind is going to be coming from behind the boat, right? You guys can use this. You can draw on this if you want. And we're going to be going straight into, and you're going to be landing on the same dinghy docks, right? It's the same day, and you're going to want to avoid going straight into the docks. So this is going to give you a problem to solve. You guys can use any sheet of paper. You can flip this over, use the back,
Can we
draw
ask
some
you
diagrams.
questions?
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
okay.
You can ask away. If you have any questions about the scenario, then you can ask me. But come with a solution. So this is the inverse problem, right? You're sailing straight at the dock. How do you one, you have to be able to stop your boat, but you also have to get to the dock right away. You can't just stop and drift sideways. And what's that going to do? You're just going to drift away into some other part of the harbor.
Do you normally take the sail down before you start coming in?
That's good. You can take. It depends which boat you're in. If you're in a Club 420, then you can actually you wouldn't want to touch the jib, because if you release the tension on the jib, your mainsail is going to fall backwards.
Okay.
But you can lower the mainsail actually almost. You can lower it all the way once you get really close.
Also,
so here, guys. Everyone take a marker, and you can start writing down ideas. You want to have one section for brainstorming. You can draw diagrams here. You can draw diagrams on this piece of paper. If you want to look at this one.
On Picos, you can detach the mainsail from the boom and tie it around the sheet. It's
That's
right
good.
the mast, right?
Write that down. Yeah.
Do you have people on the dock helping you? No, you're just going solo.
It depends on the day. If it's really, really windy, like say if you're at a regatta, not that you guys would be at a regatta, then there's people that support you. But there's going to be a fair chance that you're going to have to be responsible to at least a great extent for your own actions, right?
Okay.
There's not going to be people there to pick you up right away,
So
right?
detach or
You're gonna
yeah, sorry.
ideally you have to be able to manage it yourself without anyone
Okay.
helping you.
So detach or loosen the sail to slow down, so you're not really at the
Yeah,
mercy
that's
of
good.
the wind.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then it doesn't matter how windy it is, you can always still scull, right?
And even if you're coming in slow like that, it's slower,
You
but
can,
it's safe.
exactly. You can sail in with your jib. So you guys write all over this page. Get your solution.
Okay.
If you have any
Would
questions, you can ask
bringing the
me.
keel up do much good? No.
Dagger board? That would cause
The
you.
dagger board.
No, you probably wouldn't want to do that
No.
because
Because then
you
can
just start to
drift
drift, right? I mean, if you're going straight downwind, it wouldn't have a huge effect. But if you want to turn your head up, then you're just gonna keep drifting downwind into the docks no matter what. So that wouldn't be a good idea. Not until you come right to the dock. Then you take your dagger board out. So you guys draw a diagram. Show me what it's gonna look like.
and probably scull into place. Maybe if you were to go in sideways, it's a lot easier for someone to go onto the dock and hold it in place. And then you can turn it so it can be pulled up.
That's good, guys. I want to draw a diagram, show me what it's going to look like. Write everything down. You can put notes. You can do steps like boat's going to be here, boat's going to be there.
The water's also shallow enough for us to
draw it
stand
out
in,
for you.
right?
Some parts of it are next to the dinghy docks, right here. The water is going to be shallow enough for you to stand in, but out here in the harbor, in this area, it's going to be too deep. You're not going to be able to stand there.
Well, then couldn't we come in close?
I would say
to the dinghy docks.
you're
here?
going to have about maybe this much space around the docks. You can stand there, right?
Mhm.
Any other?
Could we
Not
come
out here.
around in a circle?
Yep.
So
yeah.
that's not
Yeah. That's.
okay.
But that's a great. So
So if you were
basically-
to come in, I guess, under wind power up until about here. And
Oh, you want to keep sailing until about
Because
right
then it's
there.
still
Until
gonna
about
be-
there.
Then we come right around here. When you spin around like that, you can drop your sails at this point, right? This is your boat, right here. Let your sail out. You can let it down. Make sure your crew pulls the boom in, right? And then you can kind of drift towards the dock. You have to be careful. You don't want to do it
You
too
have
far.
to-
Because if you drift
Yeah.
for too far, you're gonna speed up. You're gonna hit the dock.
Okay, could someone swim in here to help bring the boat in when they get here?
I probably don't.
If you want to,
get
you
someone
don't want to go
swim.
swimming, but also you really don't want to get caught between the dock and your boat. I've
yeah,
seen that
that
happen
can be
before.
really bad.
Really?
I happened to my cousin. She was about to step right off the bow of the boat onto the dock, and she just fell right in between.
Okay.
Ooh.
So what I
So,
would do best is
couldn't
come
we move
right
the
around and get as
rudder?
close as possible to the dock,
Could move
and then
down
you can
this
slow down at this junction right there, and you can catch the dock even if you're going slow enough.
Okay.
And if your sails are down, if you get your
So
sails
you're
down
coming-
in time.
Roughly, I guess, under power. Or
Yeah,
under
up
wind?
until you.
up to about here.
I mean, you can left so you go slowly, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to go as fast as
You
possible.
can left, or you
But
can
if
just
it's really
scull
if it's
to
really
the left.
heavy at this point when you're going downwind in this section here, you're gonna be at pretty much at full power unless you depowered your sail.
So the stronger the wind, the earlier you want to stop before
exactly,
you start sculling.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
But also the stronger the wind, there's gonna be bigger waves. So if you stop if you stop early up here and decide you're gonna drift into the dock, you're gonna come into the dock rather quickly, and you don't wanna be catching the dock with your feet because
It's a lot
waves
of
are
force.
irregular. It's a lot of not only a lot of force, it's not necessarily consistent, right? You can go backwards and forwards. It's not good. It's not a good mix.
So ideally, you come around to roughly here, and then you scull or drift over, maybe sideways, so someone can get on, hold it in place. It can be turned up, bow first, and then it can be pulled out with the dolly.
Yeah, yeah. Best thing to do quickly decide, before you get to this point, which one of you is going to be holding the boat, who's going to catch the boat and hold it, and who's going to jump off and get the dolly. You wanna make
So
sure you
everything's
remember that too.
planned ahead of time.
Exactly. You're not going to have, especially if it's heavy wind, right, and the wind's coming from up here, you're not going to have a lot of time to decide, talk about stuff while it's going. And if you don't have a plan in place, then, then you have tension, people start yelling, mistakes are made, people
So
can't focus.
plan for
they
the
learn
main
badly.
thing and also have
Make sure you plan,
contingencies.
yes, and make sure you have a contingency plan.
Are there moorings on the dock?
No. I mean,
I don't
make sure you avoid any moorings in the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, you don't want to get stuck on that. But no, there won't be any moorings near the dinghy dock you have to worry about hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Would it be possible as well just to come, I guess, in straight and then slow down so you come in just drifting on your speed?
you could do that. Yeah.
Also,
But the thing is, if you're coming in at an angle like this, the most important thing you want to remember is that if you lay your sail left too late, you're gonna have too much speed. You could risk running the dock. But if you let it left too early, you could risk drifting off into the side. If you had to choose one, I would suggest be towards the end where you come in a bit too hot, because if you drift off to the side, there's nothing you can do. Your boat's gonna smash up into either some rocks or concrete barriers. If you're coming a bit too hot, you can always head up into the wind, or you can just come around and try again, providing there's no other boats there. So in all, make that you have to judge the decision yourself and decide based on what's happening in the area. Overall, though, you guys seem really proficient in this. Your explanations are great. Your ideas are great. I can't wait to see you guys in the water. It seems like you guys really know what you're doing and prepare for all situations.
Mm-hmm.
Any last questions?
No.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Can't
Thank
see
you
you
for
out there.
teaching.